Hello all, welcome back to Shaving with Peg Leg. That would be me, your host and shaver today. We're going to do the head shave with a leaf today, as per usual. So, why don't we just go ahead and get right into it. I've already had a shower, so I guess it's time to do my hair. Almost done with this, I swear, I promise. We are almost done. I can tell because it won't stand up in front of my fan anymore, even with the fan blowing on it this way. It falls over. So I have to lay it down. It won't stand up. Pre-shaves on. Let's get these. Got to use this because we're using a leaf today, and the head design does not promote easy access to the top of the ear. I know. It's just a pre-shave, but it is a shaving cream that I use for a pre-shave, so all good. Alright. 28mm Maseto badger hair and Toja stick, and I'm just gonna lather it off the stick and fling it all over the room, apparently, and on my face. Should be good. If not, we can always go back and get more. Not a big deal. And yes, I like the bigger brushes for my big ass dome because it's like lathering a beach ball. Actually, my head isn't as big as I had a guy that worked for me when I was doing security. I was in operations. You know, I did payroll, scheduling, all that nifty stuff. And I did hirings and firings and all that. And I used to go around at night and check on the guys on their sites. Very involved job. Went on sales calls with the boss. But we had a guy that worked for us. He was a good guy. Good worker. For a while. Until he decided that security wasn't what he wanted to do, but I think that was more his wife badgering him than anything, because he used to say his wife didn't like what he was doing. Because we did a lot of Section 8 housing, and that's where he was in, Section 8 housing. But anyways, I'm going to check something before I get started here. I know it's okay, but there was something wrong with the razor last time. The top piece wasn't, even though the screw was tight, it wasn't folded all the way down. It got caught somehow. I had to jiggle it around. It was raised up a couple of millimeters up off of where it is now, where it's clamped straight down. And I didn't notice it. Fifth use on a Persona Lab Blue, I believe. Still cutting very, very well. But this guy, he came in for the interview and I hired him. And when he left, my boss came into my office and he asked me if I hired that guy. And I said, yeah. My boss said, well, it's a good thing we don't enforce wearing hats. That hats are optional. Officer's choice. He said, because I don't think we have one big enough to fit that head. He said, that guy's got a huge head. I said, yep. I said, that's what you call a cow head. My boss lost his ass. He was laughing so hard. He said, "Cowhead, huh?" Yep. Cowhead. He said, "Not horsehead." I said, "No. Horse heads are narrower and longer. His was like a cow." So from that day forward, in the office, he was known as Cowhead. Oh, you wouldn't believe the characters I ran across doing security. We had a saying, which didn't say much for us because my boss was, he also had to have a security license, and I did too, and that's where I started. And it didn't say much for us, but we used to say, the reason people are doing security is because they couldn't figure out how to run a cash register at a Circle K. Which, if you don't know what a Circle K is, it's a convenience store. They sell gas, cigarettes, candy, soda, beer. Yeah. I think I told you all the story about the guy came back. He was ex-Marine, and he had done 2 tours in Iraq, and he came back and he decided to do security work, and we hired him. And I put him in Section 8 housing because, hey, he was an ex-Marine, tough guy, right? And I had worked this place myself. I was also a problem solver, troubleshooter. If we got a new site that was in really bad shape, I was the one that went in and got it in line before I brought any of my guys in. Because I didn't give a rat's ass who I pissed off, how badly I pissed them off, or anything like that. But I had to make sure the place was safe for my guys when I brought them in. It's probably one of the reasons I've been shot at than a lot of people that have ever been in combat. But anyways, I put him at this place that I had cleaned up. I had gotten it organized. I got everybody calmed down. Got everybody following the rules that the complex laid down. Not our rules. Rules the complex laid down. And we were just there enforcing their rules, making sure everybody did what they were supposed to do and not be doing stuff they weren't supposed to be doing. It'd probably be easier if I just pulled my ear forward, wouldn't it? So he was like, the 3rd person to work there after I did. None of the other people had a problem. It's just that the way I did things was, we didn't have any seniority bonuses or anything. We stuck around with the company. But what I did is, if you've been there a while, after you work some of the shitholes, when positions opened up at better, safer, calmer, easier sites, you'd get moved there. Or if we got a new job site that was easier than where you were working, if your seniority rated it, I'd move you there. You were the new guy, you had to put your time in. Basically, is how I did it. So, like I said, he was about the third guy to work there after I cleaned it up. He worked there one weekend. One Saturday, his training night was a Friday night. Weekends are always the worst. So his training night was a Friday night. His first night by himself was a Saturday night. And then again Sunday night. On Monday, his post ended at 4 a.m. Well, I came into the office every day, 8 a.m. So I come into the office, and it was 7:45, 20 to 8, and he's sitting in the parking lot in his car. In his civvies and everything, and I said hello to him. I didn't go up to his car and pester him or anything, he's just sitting there. I went in the office, opened the office. 2 minutes after I was in the office, I was getting the coffee started. I hear the door. So I stick my head out of the room where I'm making the coffee. And it's like, he's standing there. He's got a bag in his hand. I'm like, okay, I know what this is about. And he asked me, when's payday? And I told him. And he throws the bag on the desk, the reception desk. She wasn't in yet. She didn't come in till 9. And says, here's your shit. ID card's in there. Everything's in there. I quit. Now, mind you, this guy did 2 tours in Iraq after the war. But while it was still a hotbed, there was still a lot of shit going on over there. Still a lot of skirmishes, shall we say. He says, I quit. I'm like, why? He's like, because I didn't do two tours in Iraq to come home and die in the ghetto in Tampa. And I laughed and I said, dude, you're not going to die. And he's like, yeah, but it's still a ghetto. I said, look, this is how I do things. You're putting your time in. When we get a new site, or somebody moves on to another company and something better opens up, if it's your time, your turn, or in your case because you really need to move, I'll move you. It's like, nope, I'm not waiting for that. I could be dead before that happens. I'm done. I asked him, I said, did anybody shoot at you or something? What's threatening your life or anything? He said, nope. But just based on what I saw while I was working, he said, I wouldn't work there with a rifle squad. I just laughed. I said, dude, that place is calm. You should have seen it when I went in there. said, "You work that place?" I said, "I worked that place alone. I was the first one to work it. I worked there for 2 weeks solid. Boss covered my shift, my position here in the office, and I worked that place for 2 weeks straight, 7 days a week for 2 weeks, and got it straightened out and calmed down." I said, "Nobody shot at you?" And he goes, "Nope." "Nobody threatened your life?" I said, "Nope." He said, "Why, did they shoot at you?" I said, 4 times the first week, 5 times the second week. And the second week, that was in the first 3 days. He's just looking at me like, I said, "Yeah, I told you, it's calmed down. Nobody shot at you. Spent 3 nights there, 1 in training, 3 nights. Nobody shot at you. You're good. It's golden." He looked at me and he said, "You're effing crazy." And he said, "I'll see you on payday to collect my pay. Have a nice one." I said, "Can you stick around for 5 minutes?" He's like, "Why?" I said, "I need to fill out your exit paperwork that you've turned in all your stuff, and you need to sign it that you turned it in." He's like, "Can I do that when I come and get my check?" I'm like, "I prefer if you did it now." He's like, "I'm tired. I want to go home." He says, "I'll do it when I come get my check." Fine. Well, I had everything ready for him when he came to get his check. But here's the thing. He took his civilian clothes with him to the site on Sunday night. So he knew after Saturday night he was going to quit. And he had to have changed in his car. Unless he changed in the bathroom at the they had a laundry room there. It only had 3 washers and 3 dryers in it. And they were coin operated, but there was a bathroom in there. It was a bathroom slash janitor closet for the laundromat, and we had the key for it, which he had in the bag with his other stuff. He had everything in there. I just thought it was funny because he knew enough to take his civilian clothes with him when he went to work on Sunday that he wasn't coming back after that. When my boss came in, he didn't get there till like 11 on Monday. He always came in late. I told him that he had quit. He's like, "After 1 weekend?" I'm like, "Yep." He said, "Jesus." He said, "What are they teaching these Marines nowadays?" He said, "They cutting their balls off in boot camp?" He said, "You worked that place for 2 weeks." I don't know. Some people, dude. We also had the apartment complex next door. That place was a hellhole too. We had that one first, and we had cleaned that one up. And the property manager of the second place saw that we had cleaned that one up, and hot towel rinse, get the slickness off. It's okay. It's a good shape. It's a typical leaf shape, even after 5 uses of that blade. She saw that we had cleaned that place up, and it wasn't as bad as it was. So she wanted us to come in and do the same thing for her place. So we did. That's not the same company where I had a problem with no workman's comp, so I couldn't get my teeth replaced. That was another company. That company got sold to one of those big conglomerates. They were the number 4 ranked security company in the country. They're size-wise. They're number 1 now, but they were number 4 at that time. And they came in, and everybody, they were, when I worked there, they were still more or less mom and pop. It was one guy, I knew him. I called him by his first name because he wanted everybody, you know. That's just the way he was. But he ended up selling the company. 2.3 million or something like that. Anyways. Oh, after he sold the company. His wife divorced him and took half of it. Anyways. Cold towel into the alum. Nothing. It's cold and wet on my head. That's it. But everybody was a number. This is how we're going to do things. There was no give and take. There was no, you've been doing this, you've been working these places, you know how to work them, go ahead and do your thing. There was none of that. This is the book, this is how we do things, and that's the only way you're going to do it. It's like, you know, and the way it's like in the military. You go through boot camp and everything. Then they put you out, say Iraq, Afghanistan, whatever. And as soon as you get there, your sergeant is like, everything you learn in boot camp is basic to keep you alive. Now I'm going to show you how to survive. This is what you really need to do. That type of thing. But they were no. This is the book. You follow the book. No. And I worked for them for like 2 weeks, and I switched to the other company that I had a problem with. But for the 2 weeks I was there, they had one of their corporate people from California come out, and he was in our office, and he watched every move we made. Why are you doing this? Well, this is how you do it. No, that's not how we do it. We do it this way. It's like, and you go through the 18 steps that they wanted you to do payroll instead of the 4 I was doing to do payroll. It was a huge joke. Avon, Cannonball Express decanter, Wild Country, aftershave. Yeah, it was just a huge joke, and I was like, no, I can't do this. My boss quit a week after I did. He was like, no, dude, this. He called me after I quit. He's like, you don't know what they're having me do now. I was like, oh, I can imagine, dude. They're messed up in the head. We were a security company, but this company that bought us also ran janitorial service. They branched into security off of their They used to do janitorial services for huge buildings, sky rises, and big office complexes. And then they branched into security because they wanted to be an umbrella of coverage. That was Johnson & Johnson baby lotion for my dome. It was a good shade, guys. But anyways, they wanted, and that's how they ran it, like you were janitorial service. And it's like, that's not how you do. Every place is different. So you have to adapt to that place and do the rules accordingly. And do the training accordingly. But that's not how they wanted to do things. But anyways, done with the shave. Done with the babbling fat guy and his security war stories for now. I want to thank you all for stopping in, sticking around for the video. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Done with the babbling fat guy in the camera. You're in the chair next. Happy shaves out there, guys.